Hi, my name is William Sparrow and I'm the executive producer of the College Hour. Our team thought it would be a great idea to introduce the College Hour to the public and let you know what we're about. The College Hour is really a reintroduction into the African American community about HBCUs. And we're also invited the Hispanic, Asian community and other minorities to look into HBCUs. Before 1964, the signing of the Civil Rights Bill by Lyndon Baines Johnson, or President Lyndon Baines Johnson, 86% of African Americans that attended college actually attended HBCUs. Now, less than 14% are actually attending or enrolled in HBCUs. And that is what the College Hour is really about. We want everyone to know what HBCUs can do and will do and have done in the past and will do in the future for our community. Now, since 2010, 14%, approximately 280,000 students out of 2 million students are attending HBCUs. But this is the scary statistic. Only 3% of colleges are HBCUs, but we produce 40% of college graduates. We also make up 50% of doctors and dentists. We also graduate 50% of the lawyers out of HBCUs. So that means 97% of the PWIs, or what we call predominantly white institutions, are really not adding up to what HBCUs can do. This is a scary statistic that we really need to look into. The other part we want to look into are why not our top 10% and our top tier athletes are not looking into going to HBCUs. And this is going to be our topic for our first show, really. We're here at the SWAC Conference Championships, and we're talking about top tier athletes, why they're not looking into HBCUs, and also the economic impact that they are having to our community and our HBCUs. So this first show, we're at the SWAC Conference with Commissioner Duard Sharpe, which we really appreciate. He has done a fantastic job in getting the SWAC Conference out in the public. We also like to thank Nietzsche Avery, who is the CFO of the SWAC. We also like to thank Zena Lewis for inviting us to come to a SWAC and do our show. But most importantly, I'd like to thank my team. I'd like to thank Nathan Young, who's been a great support and who's also is also an executive producer, and also Vicki Palmer, who is also an executive producer. We'd also like to thank, most importantly, Still Waters Media Lab, our brother Saif Muhammad, who's done a fantastic job and really got us out there. So stay tuned, be excited, and look at what we're about to do. Saif, hit it. Hi everyone, this is William Sparrow from the College Hour. We have here Dr. Kenyatta Cavell. How you doing, bro?
Doing well,
Good to see you again.
Definitely, thank you.
So what do you think of the SWAC conference so far?
I think the tournament has been really good
Okay.
in terms of the play and action on the field. Some of them are trying to get used to playing in this professional arena with being so big, so I think some of the shooting has been off, both on the free throw line and the overall three-point field goal percentage when you look at it. I think that could be played, but in terms of the intensity of how they play, the players, the coaches in terms of coming here and the seriousness and appreciation that taking it, I think they've done a wonderful job for the fans to really get into this and cheer about what's going on in the SWAC.
And now you are especially in sports information management, is that?
Yes, I'm a professor at Texas Southern University. Also do this in terms of a business venture on the side where I do some consulting in terms of the business side of sports. I teach it as a full-time professor with students that are earning a Bachelor's of Science in Sport Management at Texas Southern University right here in Houston, Texas. That program started in 2010. Very excited about where that program is going. Looking forward to moving in serious consideration of a master's program, and ultimately would like to be the first historically black college and university, HBCU, with a doctoral program in sport management with the emphasis of the African American community focused so much on sports We don't want to just be those in terms of playing the game. We also want to know that people can manage as you doing work on the media side, as you're doing a great service to all those that want to get information for SWAC, African Americans in general. And finally, we want to make sure people know that we can put them in positions to get into the mid-management level, hopefully at some point into the executive level, whether that's within the SWAC in terms of athletic directors, associate athletic directors on the APR issue side, compliance, all the way on the marketing side, all the way up to the commissioner side, both within the SWAC, MEAC, HBCUs, SIAC, CIAA, right. Now the all historically black college representing the Gulf Coast Atlantic Conference out of the NIA right. Programs, as well as those that want to veer off and go into some of the more branded programs in terms of Big 12, SEC, right. Get the feet wet in that, and go all the way up to hopefully the professional level right here in Toyota. Some people working at Houston Rockets. We have a student that's doing some internships here now that has parlayed that into the next level of trying to move up the business thing. So we want to be all over the place. Houston, Texas, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Redskins, right. Anywhere that they will have us. And ultimately, we like to be around the world. Soccer is a big-time program with the World Cup coming up this summer. We want to be in that as well. South America, Europe, Africa. We want to be all over the place.
Okay. And since Prairie View ladies won the championship today, give the people a little bit of your educational background, since I know you're a Prairie View man.
Definitely. Yeah, I get in a little trouble about that.
I was going to hold off a little bit, but I was like, I got to let's go ahead.
You know, like I tell them, I say, I'm a highly trained professional. I do this for a living, so I understand those questions. Undergraduate degree is at Prairie View A&M University, proud graduate, producing productive people is what we say, and I believe I'm in the line with all the other historic people that have done it. So I'm trying to carry my wing and have that hand that reaches back and bring up the next group. I've done a Bachelor of Science there in Mechanical Engineer. Okay. I did that trade for about 10 years, decided to move on, go back to school, did a master's where I started with Applied Mathematics for Scientific Computation. I finished that master's at Prairie View on the educational side in terms of a master's, and then I did a master's at Texas Southern, a business degree, as well as a master's in physical education, human performance, with that concentration in sports management. And finally, I ended up with my doctorate at Texas Southern University, so I'm an alum of both schools. So everybody asks, I say, I cannot lose at this tournament here. It doesn't matter what happens, I'm a winner. And I mean that on and off the court, as people would say. But I did my final degree, terminal degree, at Texas Southern University with a education administration doctorate in supervision and leadership, and that's kind of what took me in this area of where I am. I also have where I did postgraduate studies at Sam Houston State, concentrating more on the sport management arena, and that's where I kind of decided to build and got to the point where I'm now. I'm a professor at Texas Southern, assistant professor there, traveling, presenting research papers on historically black colleges, as well as doing media things that will give our students that opportunity in terms of their internships to go right out of school into a program that they like.
You know me, I could talk to you all day, but
thank you.
We don't have all day.
I understand.
Yeah, but I'm gonna cut through the chase and let's get to right down to the meat of the conversation. You and I collaborated on a paper we just did not too long ago about top tier high school athletes not looking at HBCUs and the economic impact that it has, not only the community, but also the institutions. I'd like to hear what you got to say about that.
I think it's threefold. It's huge in terms of what's going on in terms of the economic impact when you look at the fact of the African American community and some of these talented athletes going to these larger predominantly or historically white colleges and universities. At one time, they didn't let them in. So we're not saying, or at least in my side, is that should be your only choice for HBCUs, but there are a lot of things that we overlook when this opportunity becomes at these players. One is in terms of graduation rate. If you're going to go there, I would really like to see that you had an opportunity to graduate, which means it's going to parlay into other opportunities of being able to hopefully work at these institutions as associate athletic directors, coaches, all the way up to the defensive, offensive coordinators. Ultimately, what we've kind of started to see a little bit now is also in terms of head coaching positions, which have been far in between in the past. But we want to go all the way up to associate athletic directors, ADs. So the first thing is you have to graduate, because we already know in terms of playing in the league, you're talking about a less than 1% that plays in there, 3% overall when you take all the sports
I didn't know
coming
that.
out there. So you're talking about, almost playing the lottery when you look at it. So it's not saying don't chase your dreams and go after what you want, but you have to be very clear that there should be a secondary opportunity. There are other studies that talk about the fact that even those folks that are successful, that have played in the professional leagues for multiple years, there's a study that recently came out and said those that have played 2 or 3 years after they have left those professional careers, that 75+% of them are broke. So what does it do you all that time to have all that money and then you become broke?
Yeah.
Because what people don't realize oftentimes is when you look back at the community, it's the community that is depraved of that economic value
right.
in terms of making sure there's an underswell to develop that community. And those are some of the things that have been lost when we went to desegregation. Some people call it integration. I like to look at it as assimilation because integration is the change of information back and forth,
right.
or people back and forth, which is a great thing when you really look at it. But obviously what took place was assimilation of the great minds, both academically and athletically, if you would, that went into these historically white institutions.
Right.
So they're getting all the financial benefits of that. And then you have this thing called deprivation. There's a professor that is working on his doctorate at Texas A&M University that did his undergraduate at FAMU out of the Houston area, where his concentration is looking at the deprivation of HBCUs. So we have a cadre of new professors that are coming out that are seriously looking at this in terms of not just covering this from a sports and athletic
right.
perspective,
That's
but also looking at sports in terms of management, business, and research, and so we can find some of these issues that are facing HBCUs such that we can leverage them in such a way that we're not just asking for handouts. We're saying this is what we're studying. We understand this is what's taking place, but these are some of the ideas of how we can rectify the situation where it becomes a win-win for all involved,
right.
not just one side of the table.
Now, I had an interview with James Jones, a graduate of Grambling, just went into the Hall of Fame in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Yeah. He feels as though, now James, don't shoot me now, but James says he doesn't feel that HBCUs can really attract the top tier athletes because of economics and their historically white colleges now have not only the money, but they have the venues. They got the rights, the television rights, and these athletes today really don't have no kind of, I'm not going to say consciousness, but no kind of responsibility to the community.
And part of that was us
to themselves.
Doing that. I think I do not like to use the word can't just because it's a roadblock, but right. I understand what he's generally speaking about, and there's a lot of research. And I would say to him, which is essentially what he's saying, that it's definitely going to be really difficult. But just because something is difficult doesn't mean that you put on whatever's necessary to change things in some type of direction and move the scales where it's more balanced. And to me, that's what we're talking about. We understand that there are some great educational institutions out there, some institutions that have great facilities, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. But where it becomes difficult when you see this unbalance and it's based off the back of individuals that look differently from all those that are getting the benefit of it. And so that's some of the difficulties, and we're talking about financial gains. And that really deprives the economic community, and you'll hear me go back to that point, because we have a lot of problems in terms of urban areas with miseducation, drugs, arrest, and things of that nature. And I don't think people have really taken the time to understand what is the connection between the two.
Right.
So if we're going to become a better America, a better world, we have to find a way to balance this and make sure that things are more of a level playing field. And that's some of the difficulties when you come with the history of America in terms of a capitalistic society and a democratic society. There's some great things that happen with that, but there are also some concerns when you have everybody just looking for their own benefit in terms of the wealthiest looking to capitalize on all that.
But I mean, I guess what you're saying is the prime example would be Grambling University right now, where the state in 2007 they had 31.2 million going to funding for Grambling. And in 2012 they only got 12.3 million.
Right.
20 million just out of the air.
Right.
Now
and a lot of that is based on decisions that legislative and governors make in terms of where they're going to fund and put this pile of money. Right. It is a conscious decision they're making. A lot of times we really don't focus on a few individuals making those difficult decisions, but making it in such a way that it doesn't leverage the playing field, and then they come back and disproportionately find out why you have individuals that are not able to survive, and you have this negative ripple effect. So it is across the board. So we're just making sure that all the information gets out there such that people can make wise decisions,
right.
and not just let a small group of people tell things from a small angle that best suits what they're looking at. So that's really my point of contention when we look at these difficult issues. So I'd like to say you're perfectly right when you make that reference and let people educate and know that, yes, Grambling has some bad things going on. Yes, this is unfortunate. And yes, they need to be focused on what they can do right, but we also need to make sure we do the background research to find out why some of these happens, that not everything is internal. Some things are external forces as well.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, smoky.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. No lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
But me, I'm a firm believer in, okay, that's a cause and effect, but there also is a reaction that the community has to come in and react to this and help out some kind of way. And I don't, be honest with you, I don't see that. So how can we mobilize our community to help Grambling out or TSU out? Because all HBCUs are really hurting right now. I mean, and that's the community doesn't know it, but they are really hurting.
Right, and that's a learned environment. You have to teach that. You have to teach giving. And that's one thing when I talk about Texas A&M and some of the bigger institutions that are doing well at that. They've understood for a long time now, and some of our greatest bastions of educational institutions, when you look at the Ivy League schools, they've done it for the longest in terms of Harvards and Yales, in terms of understanding that you have to teach this art of giving back and the importance of taking care of your own, whatever that own is, whether it's your neighborhood, whether it's your institution, whether it's an organization, whether it's a state, whether it's the United States of America in terms of that, whether it's North America, whether it's globalization. You take those on each level and you have to teach people that this is the value of that. So we have to do a better job of making sure that we reach back and teach that you're doing what you're doing in terms of making sure that this conversation exists. So we come back. I'm doing this in the classroom. One particular class that I made sure was developed at Texas Southern University that is slightly different to a lot of programs that have a sport management program. We actually have a class that students take that looks at the African diaspora, meaning black people all across the world, as well as a segment that looks at the history of SWAC and HBCU sports. Once you understand your history, there is a greater appreciation of where you're going and what you need to do to make sure you do your part of doing it out in the field, and then also making sure you come back and develop those that come after you. We haven't done a great job of that. And part of that, again, is American society that looks at capitalistic individualism, which has changed over the years for our community. And we need to make sure that we're telling people it's fine, make sure you go and get your wealth. You can earn as much as you want. You should do that. But make sure that you don't forget that people in the past have made strides to help you get to where you're going. And you need to make sure in some way that you come back and put that hand back to help the next generation.
So integration, it has since 1964, since President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Bill, and we now can do whatever we want or go wherever we want to go what school we want to go to. The history, as it seems as it is now, how it's been taught to us now, because when integration came in, they closed all the black high schools, junior high schools. They fired the teachers, the principals.
Closed the high schools, made them junior high
schools, shipped the kids off to white high schools. Now you have white teachers, white coaches, and
they looked at them differently, taught them differently, didn't really appreciate some of their cultural.
So now we don't. So now we don't have a return value of where the black teachers came from HBCUs and going to these kids. So how do we?
You lost your head coaches. You lost your principals because they became assistants. Many of them went down to the junior high. So again, it's that circle of growth.
So how do we get back to these high school kids? Because the top 300, what was I looked at? Top 300 football players in the country, not one signed with HBCU. I don't even, me personally, I don't even think they even existed.
Right. When I looked at the record that you were looking at, they didn't even have them listed as a school of entrance.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's the first thing that you got to look at. Which is a concern. But one of the first things you have to do is, again, you have to go to the base. And you have to understand that you're going to have to solve this on multiple levels. This is not a singular problem. This is not just about you putting more money into your schools, putting more money into your weight room. It's an educational, social component tied to this. There is a financial component tied to this. And there is a convergence, if you would, in a convenience in terms of that convergence of circumstances that you're going to have to really look at when you talk about solving this issue, and that is talking to these individuals and let them know all phases of it. There was a professor that did a study out of Penn that looked at these BCS programs and their graduation rate and did an excellent job of comparing this graduation rate between the cohorts of African American students and their European American students, both for men's and women's. And when you look at it, you see the graduation rate. So that's one of the first things, because any parent will tell you, while they often have dreams of going to the pros, usually what they go into it to an institution is saying they want their child to get an education. But the problem is you have people that are really sucking them in and will even take the best sides, may have an interest of them graduate, but when all these things come together, they're not graduating. What I'm saying is you need to make sure you do your homework. And if you decide to go to a school, that you're going to one where it's just as likely as you going to the pro as you graduating.
But realistically, when they go into those programs, the coach is thinking about keeping his job, number one.
Right, and that's why I say you have to have a balance.
Right.
So you're going to have us talking about it on these platforms, disseminating this information. We have to have it in written form. We're going to have smaller groups that talk about this at the junior high level when students start to get the interest in regards to that, and tell them how to really look at institutions and not just look at this glimmer and programs. you have to look at the whole dichotomy. So it has to be a change in the paradigm, if you would, shift from what has been taking place recently to what we need to go forward in the future.
But I mean, like you said, it's just so many problems.
It's hard. It's going to be hard.
But we have to start somewhere. We got to start somewhere. So where do we go into these high schools and start getting, because I'm a firm believer, sports might not be your money maker, but it's a great marketing tool for your institution. And a prime example I always use is University of Miami. You know, back in the 70s, they only had like 2,500 students. Right. And then when Howard Schellenberger came in and built up their program, then they got over like 30 or 40,000 students. You know, so even though your program might not make millions of dollars, but on the back end, when you're getting these students coming in for enrollment, you know, it's tenfold.
Right.
You know, but do you think our college presidents or HBCU presidents are thinking in that manner, or do they thinking it's just a money pit? And we just,
I think most of them understand that there are some positives to athletics, and they support that. But when you really get to a presidential level, to be honest, there's so many issues on their plate. Many of them are fighting legislators, especially throughout the South, to make sure they get the bottom funding to stay open as an institution. So I don't like to put this issue on one individual. I think all of us could do better. I'll say that frankly.
Right.
Those in leadership positions, those outside of that are representing districts, that are working with these legislators to make sure, us as researchers, making sure that we doing our research such that the presidents can get the information to go back to their legislative districts. Those that are out there voting, to make sure they're voting to put people that have their interests in there.
Right.
Those that are doing the media to make sure they tell the whole story, counterbalance the negative stories that are out there. So it's a multi-level platform, and it's hard for me just to focus on one group. I will say that the presidents always can do a better job, but I'm not going to put this just on the back of the presidents or the coaches when I know that a lot of them are doing a lot of work. Now, we do have bad apples in all these barrels that are just taking money, but you have that everywhere through all ethnicities, to all groups of life that are in it just for the money. Right. But I'd rather not focus on that group, because everybody else is focused on that group. I want to focus on the ones that really have a plan to try to take this to the next level and see where I can get on board and hopefully have a voice and say that I have something worth them listening to, which is also difficult because they have a lot of people coming after them. And a lot of people oftentimes sound very good, and they're very good at saying what should be said, but are not really saying anything. So they got to work through all that.
Tell us a little bit about your business. I want to get that out there so people know exactly what you do.
Thank you. I do a THG consulting business that looks at really going into particularly HBCUs and look at data mining, getting the information, really making what we call strategic decisions and moving forward in terms of generating more money. We started on the marketing side, much of what you did now, and now I want to go even a little deeper in terms of really understanding what that component of marketing is, and that's really getting the data, doing research to support that. I also have a side of the business where we do some media reviews and do a top 10 poll ranking. We do it for football. We do it uniquely, separate to some of the polls that are out there that historically have done it a great job for a long time, but we thought it was a time to kind of move in a different direction. Right. When you break down the scholarship limits of NCAA, FCS programs, formerly 1AA programs, that offer that 63 scholarship limit versus Division II and NAIAs that are at 36 and 24 respectively. So we separate the poll to honor that difference, even though some people believe it's closer than not. But we decided to look at it uniquely and create a major division where we look at schools in the SWAC, MEAC, including Tennessee State, and then we do a mid-major division where we look at SIAC, CIAA, and in basketball, the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference, and some of those Division II and independent NAIA Division I programs in terms of what they're doing. We do this for the sport of football. We do it for basketball, men's and women's, so I'm excited about what's taking place in terms of the SWAC tournament and where we will go in terms of naming our champion for the year, looking at all these schools, and we also do it for baseball.
Right. I really appreciate your time, and why don't you go ahead and give us your website, phone number, or any information that people can get in touch with you about.
I'm Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. You can get my information. Email me directly at kcavill@thg-agency.com. drkcavil@thg-agency.com. You can follow me on the social media platforms of Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. That's Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, DrKenyatta Cavil. Again, it's DrKenyatta Cavil. And I give a lot of credit to my students at Texas Southern University because they're the one that made them happen and told me it's very important that I understood the social media platforms. My polls on the Houston Roundball Review, that's www.thrr.com. And then on the football season, we're at the collegesportingnews.com, where articles come out with the polls telling you what to watch out for players. We do an All-American team. So we spread the gamut of trying to make sure information is out there in regards to black college sports. Now I've entered the frame where I also do some sports analysts and reports on various radio stations just to keep people up to date.
So
they
we're
want
going to see you on ESPN pretty soon?
If they come calling, I'm ready. I don't know if they want to.
Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, TSU and a Purdue grad.
That's right.
And this is William Sparrow from the College Hour. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point. There's smoky.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero oír. Danny, no lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Phenomenal coach. Go ahead, Coach, give us a little of your bio. Tell us what you're about, where you come from, your travel to.
From Fayette, Alabama, played basketball at the University of Alabama. Got drafted in the NBA by Milwaukee Bucks in the second round. Played overseas in Italy and Switzerland. Coached in Venezuela, coached at the University of Alabama, coached in the CBA. Took over Byron Knight's position as head coach in Indiana, coached at UAB, and now I'm here at Texas Southern. This is my third school.
Okay. Then let me ask you, taking over for Bobby Knight, him being outlandish and just outrageous, that had to be a big transition from you to something like that.
Well, it was a great opportunity for me, being able to be around someone that is a great coach, and to see his everyday approach and how you work and how you think. And so it really prepared me to become a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great coach, and so having the opportunity to work with someone that's very demanding and understand the big picture of not just athletics, but real world situation was a great opportunity for me.
Okay, and comparing that situation from going from University of Alabama to UAB to Texas Southern, how is that transition? I mean, because I know financially it is.
Financially, it's not very good. I hope Charles hear this, but.
But I'm saying for the schools having the money to get put into their programs like they do.
Houston. I love Houston.
Yeah,
the city of Houston
yeah.
is unbelievable. It's the third or fourth largest city in America. Everything you want here is here. Entertainment, professional sports, restaurants.
Yeah, we got a lot of restaurants.
Just everything. The culture here is beautiful. I'm just, I never, when I was younger, my mom used to take me to Stillman College and Miles College to watch games, and I wish she would have taken me when I was a little older, so I really could have appreciated it. I was so young. I just remember, being in the game with a lot of people, but the last 2 years here has been a great experience for me to be a part of this.
Right.
My son is on my staff here. My other son is homeschooled, so it's like he goes to TSU, and so and my oldest son, like I say, he's on my staff, and so we get an opportunity to go to Southern and Prairie View, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley, some of the just really good university.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm every time I go, I'm like just blown away by the tradition that they have. Everywhere we go is basically the same routine.
Mm-hmm. And
to get that is a lot of years of a lot of people making that commitment.
Right. Well, I had an interview earlier today with Dr. Cavell, professor at TSU, and he's telling me you actually got your teeth cut at Miles College.
I did. My first job was at Miles College. I made $200 a week. And, but it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, right.
I'm a firm believer in opportunities.
Yeah, so
you can't take them for granted. You have to appreciate them. You have to embrace them. And Miles College was my first job. We rode the bus with the girls and the men. We slept 4 to a room, and so it really prepared me for coaching.
Okay, let's get to the meat of the subject. And like Dr. Cavell and I were talking earlier today, it's a multifaceted problem, but how can HBCUs actually attract the top-tier athletes, not only just basketball, football, track, soccer, and because we were talking earlier, it's not only about economics, but it's also about getting people in and trying to tell these young people about the history about HBCUs and what HBCUs has done in the past and what they actually can do now and in the future.
Well, I'm not sure if they're going to take the time to understand the history of it. I think one school has to do something special.
Right.
Kids are excited when they see someone do something never been done before. And until we have a school that go to the NCAA tournament and win a couple of games, and people start talking about, like Norfolk State did a couple of years ago. They won the first game, but you have to go Sweet 16
right.
and Elite 8. And so when you can do that, now, so like today, we win this SWAC, and people are excited about that. So you have to keep that momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wasn't really excited. I was excited today about us winning, but I wasn't just, going crazy about it, because I feel like we have a lot of work to do, and we can do something special here at Texas Southern.
Okay.
I love it here. I mean, I really do. I'm excited about being the leader of this program, and my goal is to do something that's never been done before, but anything that has been done before can be done here at Texas Southern.
So actually in the recruiting aspect, so what would you recommend, or how is your recruiting style you think is going to be to attract those top tier athletes to come to TSU or any HBCU?
I just think you have to get a McDonald's All-America, a top tier player. You know, and
you think you need one?
Just need one. You know, I had one coming.
What happened? You said you had. You said had.
I had one. So once you get that one to come, the other one to come with, because players want to play with players. And I have a young son that's in the 8th grade right now. I'm working his tail off to be a part of this program, and he doesn't realize it now, but he's a TSU Tiger. And so he's going to have friends that's going to be really good. And you just have to get that first one. I mean, our campus is really, really nice. Our facilities are nice. Our locker room is just really our offices. And so just get that one special player. Every program in America that got to the level of being a great program had to get that first one.
Right.
You know, Georgetown got Patrick Ewing,
right.
Duke got Johnny Dawkins. And so you have to get that special one. Kansas got Wilt Chamberlain. And so you have to get that first one. And when you get that first one, the rest of them will follow that. And then once you put a product on the court that can compete against anybody in the country, see, it's young kids right now, all they're going to be impressed by is what they see.
Right.
They're not going to know the history of Duke, the history of North Carolina. They're not going to know that. When they see Texas Southern winning 10 non-conference games, when they see Texas Southern winning 26, 27 games in a season, that's when you go to a different level.
Okay. Because I was noticing over to me, I was looking at North Carolina Central, I think I was looking at. It looked like they could be a breakout team also, including TSU. Because I see they beat
when you beat North Carolina State, when you beat Temple, you go national.
Yes, you're right.
And so we had opportunities against Miami this year. We had opportunities against Stanford. We will have to win those games. It's just the way it is. You know, we can sit around in the office and talk about Texas Southern, how great it is, but until Texas Southern go and win a game. Southern was the talk of the country last year because they played Gonzaga close.
That's right.
But when you win, the enrollment at Southern will go up. The enrollment, when we beat Temple at Temple this year, ESPN ran a special on us all night long, up until 11 o'clock the next day. So you have to do it. You just have to do it. I mean, we can talk about it. We can know it's the right thing to do. But until you win some games and sign that first big-time player in this league, because you look at the past, our history, as far as Bob Love and all those guys playing in this league. And I looked on television today, and Alfonso Ford and Harry Kelly is in the top 6 in scoring all times in college basketball. But you have to do it now to where Johnny over here at this high school see that, and that's where he want to be, because everybody don't want to be in a big program. Some people want to come and be in a system that fits them instead of them going to fit in the system. So that's why I think I'm here at Texas Southern. It's been a big blessing for me to be a part of this program. And so my mindset is to win it all. I played for a national championship. I was at Indiana, and so I want to win it all. And I know this team we have now can do some damage. We have to play harder, we have to play smarter, and you have to be able to compete in their world. And what I mean by that is, you know, the SWAC has its own style of playing basketball. The Big Ten has its own style. The Pac-10, the ACC, the SEC, we all have our own different styles. But when you get on that big stage, you will have to make an adjustment to be able to perform at any style. It's like I tell my guys all the time, when you go to the real world, if it was a job at AT&T or whatever company, you're not competing against the SWAC. You're competing against somebody from the University of Houston, UCLA, Alabama, Auburn for that job.
Right.
And so you got to go in there and get that boss to understand that I'm the right person for this job. And how do you do that? You have to understand what it takes to work. You have to understand all the above to be a part of a company. And so me being here at Texas Southern, I've done a lot in basketball, and I understand basketball, And it's my job to get my team to understand it through my eyes, not through their eyes, but through my eyes. And so last year, I thought it took us to the conference play to understand it, 12-game win streak. This year it took a little longer for them to understand. Now, when our fans see our basketball team now, they see a really good basketball team. And our fans are knowledgeable about basketball. They really are. And the one thing I do appreciate, they are knowledgeable about basketball, but they are supportive of the program. And a lot of programs, when things start going south, they get a little impatient. I never heard anything this year. When we lost our 6 games, we lost 3 or 4 games in a row. And, you know, I was disappointed, but everywhere you go, people say you're doing a great job. I'm like, wow, you know, I didn't think I was doing a great job. But when you hear that, I remember last year we lost to Colorado in 3 overtimes, and my AD came in and was excited about the way we performed. So that's a different mindset. And so I appreciate that mindset, because the last thing you want to do is for your players to get caught up in the outside gossip about the program. And so that's one thing I really appreciate here at Texas Southern. I'm able to coach my basketball team, and they're able to focus on me coaching them.
Okay. Now let's talk about the academic side of it, because you know the 4 teams that were in the SWAC this year weren't ineligible because of the APR. But how can we just get better students overall, you think, in the schools? Because I'm a firm believer that a sports program helps market the schools and actually get increased enrollment, but we also need better students in HBCUs also.
Well, I just think it's the resource. I was at Indiana, and every player have their own tutor for any subject you want, anytime you want.
Every player had their own tutor?
Own a tutor, you know. And the resource they have is so different here.
Right.
We have Coach Ski that does our academics, and I mean, I take my hat off to him. It's tough for me coaching. Because he has to do everything, like everything.
So that's going from 1 to 1 person doing 16, whether it's one-on-one, there's 1 to 16,
he does basketball, a little football, a little women's basketball. If volleyball need him, if whoever, because he's so good, whoever need him, they come to him.
Okay.
And then you have at Indiana, you got 150 majors.
Right.
So I can hire a kid that's not a very good student, and when your majors are limited to a certain number, it's tough. And so you end up majoring in something that you don't want to be in, and when you don't want to be in something, it's tough when you don't have a background fundamentally of being a good student. It's like being a good basketball player. But being a good student, a good student knows that he needs a tutor.
Right.
He's not ashamed to get a tutor, a good student. A poor student is embarrassed to get a tutor. A really good basketball player, he knows he needs to be taught.
Right.
An average basketball player don't want anyone to know that he doesn't have the fundamentals. He's not a good passer, a good shooter, so he always try to hide it, and he's too embarrassed to go and work on it. You know, they did a research one time, and they were saying when you get to the age of 15, that's when the embarrassment come in. That's when you really notice people saying things about you. It's like a baby. When you're a baby in your world, all you see is people walking and talking. So that's what you want to do is walk and talk. But how many times do you fall down? You know, how long does it take you to put words together to make a sentence? And so, but when you at that age, you're never embarrassed. And so if we can keep that baby mindset throughout life, the sky's the limit. But when you get 15 years old, it's hard because now you have that peer pressure of what they think about me. And what people think about you can prevent you from being successful.
Okay. Well, I know you're a busy man. I don't want to hold you up, and I'm going to tell you what I think about you. You're an outstanding brother. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Texas Southern. I know it's late, better late than never.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you. And this is William Sparrow with the College Hour.
I appreciate it. Thank
Coach
you.
Davis.
Thank you.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
That's low, that's low. That's low and below.
Look, he's blushing.
Seriously?
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
This is William Sparrow with the College Hour. I'm with James Colin from Toyota, coming from all the way from LA.
Absolutely, man. Glad to be here.
So give us a little background about yourself. Tell us a little about yourself and how you came involved with the SWAC.
Well, a little bit about me is that obviously I work for Toyota. I'm in the automobile business. Have been in the automobile business for. Do I have to really tell you?
No, but just give us a synopsis. You
You
don't have to give us a long story.
But you know, I've been working for Toyota for 34 years.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a synopsis.
Yeah, that's a synopsis. So I am personally, I'm passionate about automobiles, and I'm a person that has had to. And are the cameras on? Because I'm gonna say something, and I don't know if I really want to repeat it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, let's be politically correct. How about that? Let's whatever we say, we gotta keep it on camera. So
they wouldn't really have to pay me to do my job. Now, I want to reserve.
So you love what you do.
I love what I do. So I want a little bit of plausible deniability when this gets aired. So yeah.
Well, they all know you gotta make a living, so that's no big deal. But how you like the situation here at the Toyota Center with the because the football, let me tell you, I have to take my hats off to you. The football was off the chain. I'm letting you know, even with bad weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a heck of a crowd. I thought for bad weather since Dallas was freezed out and parts of Louisiana was freezed out. We still got almost close to 40,000 people.
Absolutely, I thought it was fantastic. You know, and I know you talked to Dewar Sharp, who's the commissioner of the SWAC. And I just want to say that I think, in my opinion, in working with him, he's a man of vision. Mm-hmm. And I think he's the person that had the vision to move the football championship from Birmingham to Houston. He had the vision to move the basketball championship from Garland to Houston.
Right.
So now we've got one spot, and it's right here in Houston, one of the largest markets in the country, and we get a chance to celebrate two sporting championships for the SWAC.
Right.
I think that's just absolutely fantastic.
Well, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What do you think that Toyota can do to help African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians come more to HBCUs? And the other question I'm gonna put behind that too is internships and jobs with Toyota. And I'm not talking about in the sales. I'm talking about like in the corporate structure of accountings, marketing people, things of that nature.
Yeah, I think you know, when you look at the reality facing not just Toyota but all companies right now, everybody is concerned about the growing multicultural markets.
Right.
I mean, there's a reality going on about the changing demographics here in the United States.
Right.
So, but last year, for example, if you look at automobile sales, 25% of all automobiles sold, and the market was over 16 million, 25% of all of the automobiles sold in America went to ethnic minority consumers.
That's quite a bit.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it tells everybody that you need to kind of improve your game
Right.
if you are going to engage those consumers and continually earn their business. And the active word there is earn their business, because I think that's critical.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Okay, and I'm gonna put you on the spot again. The College Hour is now putting together a career and entrepreneur conference that we like to take around the country. You think you might want to be, or somebody from Toyota might want to be a part of that?
Well, I think we're looking at all opportunities to expand our footprint. You know, you look at what we've done here in the SWAC,
right,
and how we've partnered with the SWAC, how we've added an educational element, and I think that's critical. We just didn't say we're Toyota and add some music and some parties. We said we're Toyota and we're going to do what's really kind of authentic to us and really kind of what aligns with the things that we support in terms of our company. We have three pillars that we kind of tend to focus on. Okay. Education, the environment, and safety. So when you look at education and the environment, that's sort of a fit. You hit two of those pillars when we partner with the SWAC. So it's a great opportunity, a great partnership, and I just think when you look at historically black colleges and you look at the sporting landscape, it appears to me that it is an undervalued asset that is poised for some tremendous growth.
Right, and I guess this is where the College Hour comes in, because that's what we're trying to do here, is trying to promote HBCUs more in a positive light to African American, Asians, and Hispanics, so that, because the enrollment is really down in most HBCUs right now. The statistics show from the Department of Education that only 40% of African Americans that attend college actually attend HBCUs. And I don't know if it's a fallacy on our part for a community standpoint, or if it's from somebody else bringing in some other myths about HBCUs, but most people don't know the majority leaders that came from the civil rights era came from HBCUs, and we still have some great people that's still coming from HBCUs. Like 7 of the 11 PhDs for mathematics of women that came from Spelman. So there is still a lot to be gathered from HBCUs.
There is no question. In my opinion, these are great educational institutions that have been doing this for a number of years.
Right.
As you will recall, a lot of these institutions were started in the mid 1800s. You can go back to that point in time with a mission of trying to support the educational efforts of African Americans. I think not only Toyota, I think a lot of companies celebrate and understand that people can come from a number of places, yet we can help them to get to where they need to go. And if it's through a historically black college and university, so be it.
Right.
But it's a great place to learn what you need to learn, and then move yourself out into the world.
Right.
So, when I look at these athletes, man, I get so excited because you see the boys, the young men and women that are participating in this championship, they're all going to be pros, but pros in another sport.
Right.
They're going to be pros, they're going to be lawyers, doctors. We should all be doing everything we can to come out and celebrate their success and what they're doing.
We're going to end on that note, and I want to say personally thank you for bringing it here to Houston, because I'm telling you, that is a great opportunity for us. And this is William Sparrow and James Colin from Toyota. Do you have any final words you want to say?
No, man, I'm just glad to be in Houston. We're glad to be a part of the SWAC. Everybody, come on down to the Toyota Center.
You heard it from James Colin. Toyota, thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.